Hey, I am back with another video. It is a little late, but I decided that I was going to make my video a little bit later today. I kind of went and did some yoga earlier and got my hair redone. It looks real fresh. So I'm feeling real nice and took a nap earlier and woke up and decided to make some content. So I don't really have too much on a specific topic, but there is something that I really would like to get into. Um, I've been listening to Dr. Gaffney and Aubrey Marcus a lot, and some of the stuff that they've been really talking about has really resonated with me on a pretty deep level. And it kind of goes off of the last video that I made when I talked about the existential crisis, and I talked about what it is that's what I believe is to be going wrong with humanity and the direction that we're going in. And I'm just gonna shoot the firearm first, and then I'm just gonna adjust as I see fit. So, like, when I talk about the eye of humanity, like, it's the whole vast landscape of humanity, right? That the eye is closed, because we see in most of our modern society that there lacks really any sort of empathy or any compassion for anybody that is going through tough times, and a lot of the system is driving people deeper into suffering. And of course, people have to take their own personal responsibility as it pertains to their life and what it is that the choices that they've made in their life, right? Like, I have to take responsibility for whatever choices that I've made in my life that might have caused me to drive deeper into my lower self of emotions and drive myself deeper into suffering. And it's a kind of a two-way street, right? Like, you take the personal responsibility, you take the personal accountability, but you also realize that the system isn't really designed to really help you in any sort of way. It's not really designed to uplift people out of their more darker, lower emotions, and it's not really showing people really any sort of empathy for that, right? Like, you look at the top tier of the system, you look at the justice system, you look at the federal government, you look at a lot of these institutions, and a lot of those institutions are built off the back of people suffering, right? So that is something that I've been able to really see as clear as day. And I have actually a story that I want to bring in today, that pertains to the eye of humanity, just the larger landscape of humanity first, and then I'll talk about the personal eye of humanity that's closed, right? And today I want to get my hair redone. I go to like a salon, obviously, so like I went in there, started getting my hair washed and that kind of thing, and they turned on a TV show. There's a rapper. His name is Blueface. That's his name, and he's making a TV show about. I don't even know what the TV show's about. To be honest, I actually started watching it because I'm like, all right, I'm so deep in this sort of understanding of culture and society and how things operate. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to tune this out. Like, I'm at a point now where that energy can't penetrate me, right? And the girl that he's dating, I don't know her name. They're obviously in a toxic trauma bond. They're obviously in a very toxic relationship. It's extremely violent, extremely dysfunctional. But I proceed to start watching it, and I'm trying to digest it. I'm trying to understand what it is what are they trying to convey here? What's the show about? Who are these people? Like, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of fighting and dysfunctionality and ego, and just these people who are just clashing their egos together, just clashing their lower self together, right? And as I'm watching it, I'm really looking and I'm really observing what is this content that they're projecting onto us, right? Because, like, that's what it is it's like they're projecting this reality via our psyche. And I said that in my last video, and this is a great story, and I'm really glad that I brought it in, because it's like, when I look at the overall dynamic, right, of the black culture, right? Obviously I'm black, so these are things that I look at, and I'm watching them project this onto the psyches of all of us, right? Not just black folks, but all the people who are watching this sort of content, and I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm I almost started crying at one point because I'm like, I thought of Malcolm. I thought of brother, Malik Al-Shabazz, famously known as Malcolm X, and some of the things that Malcolm touched on, is what they're doing to our women, and this is what they're projecting onto us. Tomorrow you turn our women into prostitutes and strippers and be promiscuous and be loud and be ignorant and just use profanity, which there's no problem with profanity. I actually don't have an issue with it, but like I'm sitting there like watching what it is that they're conveying to the masses off of this show, and it really started to hit me like I was like deep in my like emotional pain body, really, because I'm just like sitting there watching this, and I'm watching them watch it, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, like what kind of message are we pushing to just not only black folks, but like to the rest of society, right? And this is where I'm saying that the eye of humanity is closing, that the society is decaying culturally. That's from that aspect, right? That's a cultural aspect. So we could talk about the closing of the eye there. We could start there first. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm in awe because I don't watch that kind of stuff. I tune that stuff out. That'll penetrate if you watch it long enough. And that's what started happening to me. It just not even like up here because I don't watch it. It can't penetrate my consciousness now because I'm evolving into a higher level of consciousness and a higher level of understanding. So like that shields me from being able to be conditioned by it. But obviously, if I sat there and watch it every day, then my life will become that reality. Hence is why I'm saying they're projecting that reality onto people, because then that's what people's reality becomes. You can hear it in the way people talk. You can hear it in the way people like talk with each other. You can hear the way that people are blocked off from here. It's blocked off from the heart. So it's like Blueface and the other, whatever the other girl's name is, like they start fighting, and then the guy girl's brother comes in, and they start having a conversation. Then they're arguing, and I'm listening to them communicating. I'm like, so how are these guys? How are they all communicating with each other? It's just fucking dysfunctional. They're not fucking getting anywhere. They're not fucking talking. They're not getting to any place of wanting to understand each other, right? And like I said, obviously those two are in a toxic trauma bond. That's what they're in, And she'll do anything to protect him because of the lifestyle that he's given her, right? It's all lust. It's all just the physical, It's all the material world that they're living in, So then the brother comes in. They had a conversation. They didn't get into a fight. They just kind of were going back and forth, and they were kind of communicating with each other. They were kind of they got somewhere, For their level of consciousness, they got somewhere, And that was the first episode. Then they turn on the next one, right? And the next one was just this all dysfunctional, right? They're outside this hotel. Fucking this girl hucks a fucking glass at the hotel, at the wall at the hotel. So they start going off. And then the other, I think her name was Christiana? I don't know. I think that's her name. It's Chrissy something. But then they start, the sister comes in, right, of Blueface's girl, and comes in, and, they start arguing. They start going back and forth. Then, mind you, this is all outside. This is all fucking public, This is all in public. This is all in front of a nice hotel where people come with their families, where people come to spend time, and people are vacationing. People got business meetings. People are trying to function, right, as in this society. They go to that hotel. They benefit from that economically. They need to go there and stay there, eat there. People work there, et cetera, right? So I'm watching this go down, right? And then, Blueface's father comes in, or not Blueface's father, the girl's father comes in and says, hey, this is this is my daughter, like, you can't talk to her like that. So they start again going off, and then Blueface and her father go to the other side, and they start talking or whatever, and then they all merge again, and then, the girl's father snuffs Blueface right in the face, gets him, right? And then, Blueface is so tough. He's got all his security. So, he's such a big guy and such a tough guy. When he's not, I would lay him out if I ever saw him in that sort of scenario. And I'm not saying that out of like ego or anything like that, but this is the kind of like frustration that I have, right? Because it's not his fault, he just sold his soul to make this sort of TV show, to keep black folks and to keep everybody else, for that matter, in this perpetual state of dysfunctionality. That's just what he's doing. So a lot of it's not his fault. I have the empathy for him. Actually, I actually feel really bad for him because he has no he has a soul. He's just severed off from it because of money and because of the fame and because of they can use people like that to further suppress other people's light and further suppress other people into this just dysfunctional sort of chaotic way of living, right? And as I'm watching it and I'm looking at it, like I'm seeing kind of how it's unfolding, and I'm seeing that the overall eye there, because that's a TV show, right? What are we talking about? The eye, people see it with their eyes, right? So people can see what is going on with that, and people who are so interested in that and who are not observant, right? Because as I said, I was watching it and I'm very observant. And I already have values of my own, traditions and values of my own and ethics that aren't in alignment with that. So, that's not gonna affect me, But people who are like, the girls that I was with and that were doing the hair for all the other clients, and they're all so entrenched in it, that is conditioning their mind to believe that this is something that's this is something of normality, And as I'm watching it go down, these are some of the things that I'm getting downloads from. It's interesting, so now I was getting downloads from it. Like I was repulsed by it, but yet like I was like I couldn't help but watch it because I'm like I have to get this information. I have to get a download from this, right? Because I talk about this stuff a lot. I need to understand what's going on in the culture, right? As that's one facet of how the eye is closed. That's another vehicle that they use to dumb people down and to close that eye, right? To keep that eye shut. And the lack of empathy and the lack of understanding for one another, right, was non-existent. They're not, none of them are in their heart. They're all just in their egoic structure of their mind. And okay, so yeah, right. He punches his father, right? Let's get back to that. His father punches Blueface. I'm sorry, and then it goes all chaotic from that point. There was another girl that was, I think, friends with, that was the girl's sister's friend or something, right? And then her and Blueface's girl start fighting because they're all mad at Blueface and whatever, and they all start going off on each other, and then Blueface proceeds to go behind homegirl's father, and then, bam, it just cracks him right in the face, busted his face, right? And that stuff doesn't bother me because I'm in a pretty violent sport myself of MMA, but again, that's all channeled, so that's channeled aggression, so we're not just, Hillary's not going to come and snuff me in the back of the, it's just not how it works. You're a coward if you do that, and he's a coward. He's a soulless coward, and he's big and he's tough, and he punches him and security protects him. And I was like, okay, so this is the kind of image that they're portraying, right? And I can get into the black culture and how the eye has been closed there, and how they really use black folks to really just be a pawn for them, and to dumb them down. And it's like, for years I was called a sellout. I don't want to get too far off the eye of humanity, but this is something that is tied into what I'm saying, right? Like, for years I was called a sellout, because I think different, or I think this and I think that. And then I got the download there. Oh, these homies are a real sellout. This Blueface is the sellout here. He's the one selling out to our community, right? He's the one who wants to use this woman and abuse her. And he's a narcissist. That's really what he is. And he wants to use this girl. He wants to use her for clout. And he wants to use her to get money and get views at the expense of her emotions, at the expense of her trauma. And the girl plays a part in it too. It's not just him. But this is to the larger extent of what I'm saying, right? Of the overall lack of connection, right, with source, right? Because of that eye. That eye is closed. So this is the large scale first. Then, right, I'm segueing right into this. This is beautiful. Once that larger scale eye is closed of the system, right? Because it's Zeus. That's the TV company that's doing it. So their eye's closed. Their eye is shut. They're using him as a way to further close the eyes of people within their own personal humanity, right? And that is something that is the big issue right now at the core of our system and in our society. And we're seeing the decay. If you want to see it, you can see it. If you don't, you don't believe it, you want to fucking think it's everything's fine and dandy, you can smell the rose, go ahead. Then that's fine. I'm not here to tell you what you should think. But at the same time, there's a correlation. You see that this TV show, this big company, right? They get views, they get money. All they have to do is pay somebody like Blueface a lot of money to sell out and to further close his eye, to close the eye of everybody else's. So it's like, that's what they're doing, via the reality they're projecting through the psyche of other people. And that's what we're really talking about when we talk about the eye of humanity. That's what Dr. Gaffney's talking about, right? That's what he's saying, is it's like that eye has been shut because you have people like that who are willing to do anything by any means necessary. Whatever you pay them, they will do anything that you want. The amount of whatever they were talking about on there, licking toes and buttholes, like it's all just to demoralize all of us. That's all it's meant to do. It's not meant to empower Black America. It's not meant to do any of that. And people will want to sit here and argue with me all day long until the cows. And I wanted to say something so bad to some of those girls, about just like the truth. Not like, I don't want to like hit them, but no, I don't want to insult them. I don't want to upset anybody, but like, I almost wanted to just be like, this is what they're doing to our sisters, man. Like, and then you're going to tell me I'm the sellout. Oh, okay, you're going to say Eric July's the sellout. Oh, you're going to say Maj Turey's the sellout. Oh, you're going to say Zuby's the sellout. Okay, all right, right? People who want to open the eye of humanity, right? People who want to move towards a more prosperous, freer society. People who want to actually help Black America and help just America in general, right? You want to say that we're the real sellouts, right? But then that's the kind of content that they're conditioning our sisters and our brothers to be like, fuck out of here with that, man. It's fake. It's just a bunch of phony, fake, soulless cowards. And the company that runs the TV show, they're cowards. But then they're the first ones to hooler and how Black Lives Matter and all this is fake. It's further closing the eye of humanity. It's further driving people into a lower state. It's not uplifting them. It's not bringing people to the point where they can start to open their eyes to see the suffering that's around them, right? And that's I'm just here to get to the real. I'm not really interested in you arguing and whatever about it, because it's clear as day if you really want to watch it. And if you can't really hear what I'm saying, they got you by the balls, homie. If you can't hear what I'm saying, if you're gonna argue it and call names and come at me with all these fallacious arguments, like, they have you. That's just what it is. Do it till the cows come home. We can sit here and argue until they come home, but it's just the truth. And it really speaks to the larger extent of where our society was and where our society is going. Because that's all you have to do. Just watch a TV show like that I didn't watch it for that long. It was only 15 minutes. I mean, it was something like that. No, I wasn't probably more than that. Probably 20 minutes, where I was in this state of observance of it. And I'm really was looking at it, and I'm really just trying to sit there and understand, why is this becoming the mainstream, right? But like I say, people will say that what I'm talking about is weird, or what Aubrey's saying is weird, or what Zuby or Eric or Dr. Gaffney or Dr. John Churchill. People will say that we're the ones, or what even Aaron Rodgers is saying. They're gonna come at us, right? They're gonna say that we're weird or whatever, right? Or what they're saying is not realistic. So that was what I'm not saying everybody who says that is in alignment with that sort of stuff, but most people who, and I'm talking mostly as it pertains to my skin color and kind of the slack that I've caught from just wanting to think differently. Most of those people are going to judge what I have to say, but look at their culture, and then they want to blame white folks, and then that's all another conversation that I'm not doing another video on. But like, they want to blame everybody else, right? But they don't want to take a look at the culture, right? They don't want to look at they don't want to look at how much the culture is actually closing them off, right, from connecting with each other, thus closing their eye of humanity completely off. On the larger extent, the large scale, what is being put out, right? And then their own impersonal eye is closed. So that's the monster that we're dealing with. You know what I mean? That's what they want to put out. That's what they, because it dumbs people down. It doesn't get people to a place where they want to understand anything about other people or themselves. Because at the end of the day, if that was the case, if that wasn't what we were, if that wasn't the kind of content we were putting out, the world would look like a lot different of a place, you know. So I really kind of gained a huge understanding, right, of this eye, you know, and how I'm starting to open mine, and my mine has been opening anyways, you know. Mine's been open, I think, for a long time, and you know, it got closed off somewhere along the way, and you know, based upon my decisions that I made and some of the habits that I was involved in, closed it off. You know, but once I got over those, and this year especially, it really opened it very deeply, and to really see what it is that is going on, and you know, I have empathy for these people, but a lot my sympathy, once I get in here, it just starts to dwindle quite a bit, just because nobody wants to hear anything different. When you start talking about stuff like that is real, nobody wants to really hear that. You know, they're just consumed with all the propaganda and all the fucking indoctrination that they've just been hit with. And if you look at this landscape of it, I'm not saying it's going to collapse, but there's a very heavy chance that if nothing changes, right, it's very fragile psychically. Like, those people are so, like, watching that show, it's like those people psychically are so fragile, they just lose it. They're out there fighting, they're out there throwing stuff, punching, fight. It's just reckless. Their psyche's very fragile. So if you look at the real landscape, right, of what it is that we're up against, because you have to know what you're up against. If we want to combat this machine, like, you got to know what you're up against. You have to get outside of it, because it's not on the team humanity side. It's really not. It's more for themselves. How much more money? What outrageous thing can anybody do to just keep people dumbed down? And they'll pay you whatever kind of money to do it. That's the real shit that we're really up against. And you know, at the end of the day, it's like, people are just gonna have to go through it. You know, that's why I'm really putting my energy into this channel. I'm really putting my all into my life right now, because it's like I really just want to break out of society. I'm fucking so tired of it, quite frankly. I love the life that I live, and you know, I love the people that I can connect with, and you know, like US MMA, that's like my slice of heaven. Like, people there are like yoga and Muay Thai. I want to get better, and like, it's such a great place to be at. You know, I love my job too, but I'm not really around people who are just in alignment with my internal world. So it's like, the blessings are coming to me, you know. I feel it. I feel I'm on the precipice of finally breaking out of working for somebody else. It's just being employed by somebody else, and then being around people whose eyes aren't really that open. A few are, you know. I can't say that all the people in my work aren't, you know. Be doing a lot of them a disservice, because they're beautiful people, a lot of them. And it's not even the job that is even the issue. I just have the manpower to create my own life and pay myself. So I've been coming to a lot of understandings about how overall the structure of my life really revolves around that eye, right? It's not all of it, but it's a big component. Is keeping that eye open to really see, like, the suffering within myself and within humanity as a whole. Like, that's really where I'm at with coming to these understandings. And as my eyes open more, the more I see, right? You know, I see some of my family in Kenya that have a lot of wealth, and they're not really interested in helping people like my sister and I, you know. And I'm not saying I need their help, and I'm going to figure it out one way or the other. But, you know, my sister's got a makeup thing going. She's got clients coming here. She could use the money. You get what I'm saying? Like, she could use whatever was left for my sister and I, and it's maybe a certain thing. She could use it. Right now I'm okay. I have a job, so I can pump money into this, right? Pumping money into the coaching, pumping money into my channel. Like I can do this I can do it with the job I have. So I'm not asking for it, but also at the same time, I see her work hard, and she has clients, and she actually has something that's going for her, and doesn't seem that anybody in my family really wants to be like, hey, Simona, hey, I'll cut you something, or this is the money Mzee left you, or whatever the case may be. I'll cut you a check for $10,000. You get me on the back end, but nobody wants to really do that there, Look at some of my cousins; they already got their money, but my sister and I we're still here. Nobody's really interested in talking about us or asking us any fucking thing. You know what I mean? It's because the eye is closed. It's just, that's what it is. And there's a lot of, see, my grandfather's was open, so now that he's not around, you see that the fight for the resources is just that. It becomes about what they want, and it becomes about what they want to do, and it becomes about not really embodying anything of what the old man said. So I'm seeing it on a much deeper level, and it's time just for me to say something about it. It's going to cause an argument at one point or another, but I'm kind of tired pussyfooting around it. It's time for people to really just hear something different, even if they don't agree with me, or they think I'm freaking wild, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? It's to that point where people are just so deluded by their own fucking bullshit that they don't want to hear anything. They can't have a conversation, So I'm seeing the value in understanding the concept of the eye of humanity, right? I think it's very, very important to allow for us to keep that eye open so that we can look to the horizon, and then we can really look to the horizon. We can really see, right, like what we can create with that eye fully open, right? We can create utopia. We can create heaven on earth. We have all the resources to do it. And anybody who wants to say you can't, open that eye, baby. Get to yourself, you know what I mean? Merge your darkness with the light, Connect with your spirit. Get beyond all this, whatever they're saying on the media, all this telling us we have anxiety, we have depression, and a lot of it stems from, look at the life you live. What choices are you making? Right? I'm not perfect. Nowhere near it. I feel life, but I'm also not depressed, and I also don't have anxiety. And nor do I have ADHD, which they told me I had, and had to take pills. All a lie. It's all a scam. So it's really time to start looking at this sort of particular concept, right? And my understanding of it will deepen as I continue to evolve and expand my consciousness. It will continue to really evolve into us creating a new system, all of us, the ones who want it. Look, if you want to stay in this one and you want to believe what they're go ahead. I'm not. It's funny when I say that. I'm not stopping people from doing what they want. If you want a socialist government and you want to suck the dick of the government, go ahead. I don't care. Technically a tit, not really that, but you get what I'm saying. If you want to suck the tit of the government and you want the government to take care of you, and if you're waiting for them to take care of everything for you, go ahead. I'm not. Why would I tell you not? Why would I tell you what to do? Not really my position to do that. You feel me? It's not really for me to really tell you what you should and shouldn't do. It's not my angle. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you how I think. This is just how I live. This is just what has unfolded within me. I'm not really about to sit here and tell people to create a new system and all. If you want to stay in this one, go ahead, but don't force everybody else to do it. Now you're just becoming a control freak. You know what I mean? And now it's just all driven by ego. Then if you're just trying to keep everybody in the same thing, in a system that's eyes aren't open, that's blinded and deceived and perverted, why would I really want to? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I know I need it for now. I need to do what it is I need to do right now in this moment, and that is still reliant on the system, for the time being. So I'm receptive to that, but you just have all these people out here that just want to argue about it, right? They just want to argue about this, and we need this, we need that, all just limited by their own mind because they can't even see the potential within themselves, right? Because that eye's been closed. So It's been closed by the larger cabal, and then impersonally it's closed by the programming and psyche that they have projected onto all of us. So yeah, that's really my take on all that. Like I kind of came home, I was so tired, man, like energetic, I could feel it just watching that show, just watching this, just my people just acting a fool like that. You know what I mean? Just doing it all out of ego. It's all just about lust and not even just lust of sex, lust of money and alcohol and those things aren't even bad. I don't even say that alcohol and money are bad. It's not even what I'm saying, but just the lust for it, the drive for it. That's the driving force. That's just where their consciousness is at. Their consciousness is just around feeling good, and that's where I was at. I was at that point in my life, and that closed my eye to seeing what the world really is. And yeah, I think overall it's quite the understanding that I've come to. And Dr. Gaffney and Mr. Marcus are really helping me deepen that understanding very much. I'm just taking what they're saying and I'm applying it to the things that I have already understood, and it's deepening that understanding, right? And then that's how we're going to continue to create our own thing. I'm doing it now just by talking on this channel. I'm creating my own system just by that, because I'm tired of the structure, right, of this system. Well, we could take pieces of it, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's all bad, but the time is really coming to really start opening our eyes, right? Our eyes to the larger extent, and then our own personal eyes, right? And I really believe that it's on the way. It's really we're at a place in humanity, a split, right? So that's really all I have for today, and I'm gonna make another video tomorrow. I'm waking up, go do some Muay Thai and rip the bag and such for a little while, and come back and make another video. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and I look forward to chopping it up with you again. Peace.